what inspired you to get into healthcare?
Oh, I just love to care for others. It's so funny because when I was in high school, my mom always told me, please become a nurse. And I said, there's no way. I don't want to see. It was a too busy environment, and all I can think about is the blood, everything else. But then I went into business, and I did my business. And then I started working into hospitals. And then once I started working in the hospitals with my business background, I started being a nursing coordinator in the office. And then it's so funny because we were short-staffed all the time for monitor techs, and I wanted to help out. That's one thing I have. Every time something's short, I'm trying to see how I can help out. So then I said, you know what? I'm gonna go take my monitor tech class, and I'm just gonna help out whenever we need it. So then I jump into that. Once I was on the floor as a monitor tech, you have to stay still looking at those monitors. But then I have all these patients calling, and I wanted to do more. So I wanted to help them out. I couldn't just stay still. So then I would have sometimes the charge nurse look it over and just see if they just needed a glass of water, whatever I can do. So then I would just give it to them. And just those little details, once I started doing it, I was like, you know what, I want to do more. I actually like the nursing environment. So then I decided to go back to school. And then that's how I started my journey as a nursing. So I went to take my prereqs that I needed more to then take my transfer to a BSN program for nursing. And then that's how I started my journey as a nursing. And then in the same hospital, of course, I was there and they hired me on the same hospital. And then I started being a nurse. I just loved it. The blood never bothered me anymore, any mucus, nothing. I just loved it. I fell in love with it because it's just that I love helping out people the way that I would love my own ones to be helped. And it's just something that it fulfills. It fulfilled what I really wanted to do in life. And ever since, I loved it. Now I've been, a nurse for almost about 7 years. I don't regret it. I really love being on the floor. Even though I'm a faculty now here, I love to still go and do bedside care. I still work as a bedside care nurse. I don't think I can ever leave it. I just love helping people. It's just my calling. It's just something that is my passion. I went to Azusa Pacific University for my BSN. So I went straight for my RN just because I already had some of the requirements and I only needed a few more to get my to transfer to a BSN program. That's the reason why I took the route. Yes, I'm a very active person. The students that have already known me in clinicals, they can see how the way I work. I just love to be active, proactive. And if I have patients that need help, for me, it was like the nurse is busy, the CNA is busy, maybe it's something small I can do for them. So then I would just get up and go in and try to help them out as long as I have the charge nurse over looking at the heart rates. But yeah, and then after that, that's what really inspired me to do more for them. I wanted to do more for those patients because sometimes they ask me things that I didn't know, and I wanted to know. So then that really inspired me. It's so funny because when I came to the school to work and I was orientating with a clinical instructor, the same clinical instructor was my residency orientee. And we hadn't seen each other in years because I left my old job a long time ago to start pursuing other hospitals. But it's just that it was really hard at that time to get someone to orient me during my residency program, and I just emailed him and he doesn't take just anybody. He didn't want to do it. He didn't want to struggle with it. So once I emailed him and he said yes with me, he's a very strict RN, very good RN, very strict instructor. So when he said yes to me, that meant a lot for me. And when I was on the floor with him, he took me from the hand and he basically let me fly, and I was able to recognize a lot of things in my early nursing career that for me, maybe it was something like, wow, this is something I really love to do. Not just the help, but also the rush of being able to identify things before it happened so I can help to prevent those issues to happen to my patients before they go into a code or anything like that. That's one of my priorities. And I also believe that preventive care is a very huge thing that we need to help out our communities with. So perhaps the way I can approach that in the hospital area is by making sure that I monitor my patients in the correct way, that I see every perspective and every aspect, any changes. I can prevent them into going into a code or into crashing before. Maybe we can do something before to prevent that from happening, and that's one of my main approaches as a nurse. Always wanted to be, I also wanted to be a teacher because it happens that on my bedside, every time we have students, for some reason they always give me the students. So I have the students, I have no problem with it. I love teaching them. I loved asking them questions and make sure that they're practicing in a safe way before I let them do any medication passing. And just that aspect of just inspired me to actually do more and try to pursue the teaching. So then when I found out about CCI is a very flexible school for the students. They give a lot of opportunities. They have a lot of diversities. They don't judge background, education background, nothing like that. So they have a really broad diversity of students, and they give a lot of opportunities to those students who really want to approach the nursing that maybe other schools don't give them, and also the flexibility of the schedules. And I chose to. I was also recommended by one of the instructors here that I happen to know, and I met him on the ambulance. Well, he was helping my mother-in-law. So then I said, why not? Let me see if I can try the teaching career, and maybe I like it. And honestly, until now, I love it. And hopefully I can give back to those students the same thing that I was given in my school, so they can be an excellent nursing practice, bedside nurses. That's one of my goals. So I do theory, and right now I'm doing the first term, which is fundamentals. So I'm gonna be teaching the theory fundamentals, and I'm also gonna be doing their clinicals along with fundamentals. So that's what I'm gonna be teaching, and let's see what that takes me after. Maybe later I will be teaching med search as well, but for now, fundamentals. I've been here for almost 2 months, and I love it because everybody, you can feel the affection, everybody supports each other, everybody works with each other. It's just a whole team work environment. And just we know that we need that at bedside, we also need it at any type of job. So I really love, they're very welcoming, very helpful, and everybody is just like a small little family. So I love it. I just enjoy how I can not just interpret all the data and all the material to the students for them to comprehend really what is going on with the physiology and the changes into the human's body. But I also love sharing my own bedside stories so they can actually fully understand, and they can grow a little bit of their critical thinking at this stage of life that they're in. But of course, they're going to need critical thinking grows over years, and it continues to grow. It doesn't matter how much experience you have as a nurse, but just connecting those dots, my bedside care with the teaching, it's just amazing how I can transmit that to them. So I love to explain things, not just from the medical perspective, but I use other things like a water hose, little things like that, just for them to get it in their head and understand and fully comprehend. But I also love to call them out so that I can ask them questions. I love to play little games with them with questions and see who can answer these questions or not. So I just love to keep them engaged, and I want them to interact with the class as well. So I just ask them questions. I make sure that I'm talking to them fully through the whole class and comparing our subjects with little things that they can have a comparison that we do in our daily life, so it can click and they can comprehend it truly. So that's what I do so far. So I do advise them to read the material before the class, of course, because if they do that, once we are in class and they see how I'm explaining to them, this is the second time they are actually hearing of this subject, and they can ask questions. So they are more proactive, they ask more questions because now they want to understand maybe something that is not clicking, and I can help them to click those dots. And that's going to be very helpful for them to, of course, do their assignments before that they're required before, because they're meant to be there for them to be proactive and ask questions during class because maybe they didn't understand it. So I can explain to them. That would be my best. And of course, to do practice questions. That I am Muslim, and they always think that I'm Middle Eastern, but I'm not. I'm Hispanic, so I speak Spanish. And when they hear me speaking Spanish, they're like, oh. So yes, I was like, be careful guys, because I speak Spanish. I would be moving up to maybe ICU perhaps, because I always worked in tele step down and I love it. But I also interested in moving up to ICU and trying to eventually transfer to a complete different specialty, L&D, labor and delivery. I love labor and delivery. And although that was my main goal from the beginning, but the reason why I started in tele and step down, that was because I wanted to know how to react in emergency situations for emergency cardiac arrest or any of those type of things that sometimes we do have it in L&D instead of waiting for everybody to come to help us. So after that, I was gonna move on to specialty L&D, but it hasn't happened yet. But I'm still trying to see if it would happen. Oh, I'm more like a water person.
Really?
Yes, I try to stay away from all those. But if I have to say, if I go to Starbucks, it would be like a caramel with extra caramel. I know. That's weird from me not drinking other drinks, but I have a very sweet taste. So my first one was, and of course, Grey's Anatomy is one of the famous. Yes, I do like Grey's Anatomy. I like their excitement part about medical, but then when they get to other parts, shut it off and then just move on to something else. That I love horseback riding, and I used to play soccer after college.
So are you an early bird or a night owl?
Early bird.
Do you like clinicals or you like being in the classroom?
I love both, a mix of both. But I have to say, because I love teaching and preparing them, and then I love taking over in clinicals and then making them have hands-on on whatever we were just touching during class. So it's kind of like a good combination.
Scrubs or business casual?
I love both. My favorite way is just when I go home and I get to spend time with my family, because sometimes I'm so busy that I don't get to do that, especially with my 3-year-old. So that would be my most relaxing way. Just sit down on the couch, enjoy my family, and that's it. Honestly, get to it. Because once you come here, it's very flexible. I wish I had the flexibility before, because going through nursing school, it's hard enough already with family, with work as it is. So this school provides a lot of flexibility. It's great. There's a lot of support in here. There's a lot of instructors that are very, very passionate about teaching and about making sure that they succeed, not just for them to pass their NCLEX, but also to become the safe bedside nurse that we want them to become. So there's a lot of support here. I really love it here. I see how much the students get, how many resources they get. I wish I had those resources to study for your classes. I didn't have resources. I had to study on my own. So here they have a lot of resources. They have everything. So yes, I would say please do it and become LVNs first. And then as you practice, you can escalate up more. But honestly, this is a great school. I really love it.